Can you believe we started Interview Boss in 2021?
Not really. It's insane. That's a lot of episodes and a lot of hours of talking.
Oh my gosh, it is. And if you're scrolling through all of our episodes, you might scroll straight past something that you really, really needed.
Yes, we're always getting messages from people asking us to do an episode on something, and I'm like, we already have.
So we've put together playlists to help you find the episodes that are exactly what you need, suited to your situation.
They're all categorized. If you're applying for jobs, we have episodes about resumes, cover letters, job ads. If you've been offered your dream job, we have episodes on resigning, exit interviews, and how to impress at your new company.
And we even have a very special playlist that's very popular for if you have an interview coming up immediately and you need just our most recommended hard-hitting episodes between now and then.
For all our last-minute listeners. It's all there for you. You can browse by category and check out all the playlists at interviewboss.com.au/podcast. It gives context to the bad ones out there because they're probably motivated by money and just wanting to fill the spot, and they don't care about the outcome. I thought that recruiters were just good people who had a joy for matchmaking.
Oh my God.
Wow. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Interview Boss. My name is Emma. I'm a radio journalist who's teamed up with my sister to give you advice, inspiration and support when you're looking for a new job. Sarah is a HR and recruitment professional, and together we're excited to give you all the tips, tricks and behind the scenes knowledge to help you in your career.
Hey Em, and welcome back everyone. It's time for our favourite part of the podcast, the Shoot Your Shot Shoutout. This is for you guys, our incredible listeners all around the world who have gone out there, shot your shot, and you've got something to tell us all about it, how it went, sharing your wins. This week, we're shouting out Jorien, who's an Interview Academy alumni, one of our favourites.
How exciting. Jorien said, "Hi, Sarah and Emma. I found your podcast just before I had an interview. I did prep for that very well, I thought, but it was a weird experience. My interviewers seemed to have all kinds of ideas about me, but didn't ask directly. I didn't go through the second round because of experience, but they wanted to keep me as a backup as they thought the interview went great. I decided to apply further and found a job ad that seemed like a better match. I decided to use Interview Academy for my prep as I realised that my good prep last time might have focused on the wrong things, and surprise, it did. I used Interview Academy first to prep for a great cover letter and CV. Then I got an invitation for a first interview. I asked for a different time as I couldn't make it and started to work on my best bits and improve my career story. This morning, I felt the nerves and felt insecure, afraid it might end up the same as the last interview. However, I thought about a really bad second interview that I once had, and I got that job, so I thought if I could make it through that, it can't be worse. I just had my interview and it went really well. I felt confident going in, well prepared and ready to discover if this job would fit me. Although my interview was with 4 people, it felt relaxed and like a great conversation. My career story, which was full of elephants, went well.
Oh, I love that.
And I could use my best bits for all kinds of questions. I really liked the people I spoke with. I felt so proud and confident walking out. Even if this job goes to someone else, I feel very happy about my preparation and how I did the interview. The good news is that all that prep is so universal that if this doesn't work out, I can use it for a next interview. Thank you so much. This was and is extremely helpful, and I love the sound of your voices."
Oh, that is incredible. I actually hadn't read that one before you just read that out to me. This is my very first time hearing it. Normally I've read them when we first received them, but I must have missed this one. That is so good. I love that we are the first to find out, hey, it was this morning. It's today. I'm updating you live as it's happening. It is so cool.
So many things I liked. Step 1 was revamping the CV and resume. And then she got the interview, then was like, okay, now we can dive into the best bits and stories, very chronological order. Love the part about how she feels isn't tied to the outcome because she knows she did herself justice and actually if she doesn't get it, that's okay because she's so proud of herself. That is what we aim for.
I know that feeling, like so proud and confident walking out. And like, if this job goes to someone else, that's fine. All this prep that I've done is going to get me into the next one. And I just want you to think about, if you're listening to this, how good it would feel to know that you nail interviews. Like, it doesn't mean you're going to land every job. That's not what happens at all, because like we talk about here, there could be a whole range of different things just about you and your experience that kind of doesn't fit, but that you've done yourself justice every time and you've made sure that you've communicated yourself properly. And whatever interview it is, that's going to be fine because you know how to do great interviews. You just have that skill forever.
Yeah, you're never going to lose it.
So good. I love that. And like, you go for a promotion later, it's all good. I can interview well. I know how to do this. It's my favorite thing. If you want results like Jorien, check out the Interview Academy. Get in there. Even if you don't have an interview yet, as you've heard, it can even help you preparing with your cover letter and your resume, because all the exercises take you through all your experience. Even though it's not built for that, I think it could still be useful for that. Or you can have a one-on-one interview coaching session with me. If you've already done all of your prep and you just want a little bit of tweaking, you can check out all about both of those services, interviewboss.com.au/coaching.
Yes, now this week's episode is dedicated to Freddie, and a hot reminder that if you want to request an episode on your situation or conundrum, you can kindly follow us on Instagram and slide into our DMs. So this message came through our website. Freddie said, "I hope this email finds you well. First off, I've been loving your podcast. I discovered it last week and have already found so much value in the insights you share. Thank you for creating such a fantastic resource. I wanted to reach out to get your thoughts on a recent experience I had with a very large recruiter. They put me forward for an executive role but didn't meet with me prior to the interview. The only contact I had from them was a text message sent at 9 p.m. the night before the interview, simply stating that they were interested in my leadership style. For the interview itself, I was required to deliver a 10-minute presentation, which I spent an entire weekend practicing for to ensure I was thoroughly prepared. It's been a week since the interview and I haven't received any follow-up from either the recruiter or the organisation. Given the effort I put into the preparation, I feel that at the very least, a check-in from the recruiter about my thoughts on the role and the process would have been a good professional courtesy. It's left me wondering whether this is typical behaviour or something worth addressing. What are your thoughts on how this situation was handled? Is there a better way to approach recruiters to ensure smoother communication in the future?"
Oh, such a good rundown of the situation. And like, sorry, Freddie, that's awful. That's awful.
Yes, there is a better way.
That is not what should be happening, and it's not typical behaviour. Well, will I say, does it happen? Will you run into it again? Potentially. But there are definitely ways to avoid it, and it's not what you should be expecting of dealing with an agency recruiter. So what is up with that situation? First of all, they should never have put you forward without speaking with you. That is a massive, massive red flag to me. And the fact that they were the kind of recruiter who did that and then also ghosted you, I think those two things go together for me.
Because just to clarify, is a recruiter's job, is it not just to play matchmaker, and therefore that assumes they need to get to know the candidate, know the company and decide if they're a fit? So if he hasn't even had a conversation with you, that's not adding up.
Exactly. So think about it from this perspective. This is what makes me kind of really frustrated about this kind of thing. Let's say I'm a company and I have engaged a recruiter to help me do my hiring, and I'm going to pay them quite the pretty penny to go and do that for me. If they find me that person, then I'm going to pay a percentage of that person's salary. Now, it doesn't come away from that person's salary. It's just that's how they calculate their fees. It could be 20%, 30%, like whatever it is. It can be quite a lot of money, like $50,000, $10,000, like quite a lot of money. Yes, absolutely.
I'm in the wrong career for one person.
For one placement, that's right. Now, what are they doing?
Hang on. What?
Did you not know that?
That is insanity.
Did you not know that?
They're not selling houses. It's not like real estate agents. Like,
it's a very similar industry. It's a very
That is
similar
bizarre.
industry. If you are the kind of person who would thrive in selling real estate, you would also probably thrive in being a recruiter. There's a lot of sales involved. It's a commission model. It's a lot about getting those fees.
I had no idea. This adds a layer of complexity because it gives context to the bad ones out there because they're probably motivated by money and just wanting to fill the spot and they don't care about the outcome. I thought that recruiters were just good people who had a joy for matchmaking.
Oh my God.
Wow.
No. So, first of all, let me say before I go further, I love agency recruiters. I've been placed by agency recruiters in my last 3 jobs. Like that's kind of exclusively the last however many years that I've gotten jobs in my own personal career. I also did a stint as an agency recruiter for 6 months before kind of moving into internal HR and recruitment. So I know this stuff and I also know plenty of incredible agency recruiters. However, when I said that comment about real estate, it is a very sales-driven environment and there are a lot of people who are very good at the sales element of it. And that doesn't mean they're a bad recruiter, but it can mean that it attracts people who only care about the fees and they don't care about the recruiting part. It's a very short-term way of thinking about things because imagine that I'm paying that fee to that recruiter. Imagine I found out that the person they're sending me to book in for an interview, they haven't even talked to, and I'm paying them that money. Why would I not just put up an ad and just interview the first person off the list? So yes, they're trained in the area, they read the CVs or whatever, but they're not spending really any time in that process to earn that fee, to provide that service. They're not providing that service to that company that they're meant to be serving. So probably in that case, they're scrambling to just have a candidate to send forward. They just want to get the interview. Hey, Interview Boss listeners, if the podcast just isn't doing it for you and you need way more help to prep for your next interview, we have the perfect thing for you. Interview Academy. Em, tell us all about it.
This is huge. This is the love child of Sarah after doing hundreds of one-on-one coaching sessions, finding out what people struggle with the most, common mistakes. Sarah has created the ultimate course that you can do in your own time, self-paced, heaps of modules, videos, interactive quizzes, a workbook that will become your Bible by the end that you can take with you into your interview because if you're a long-time listener, you know that we endorse taking notes into your interview. It's a game changer.
Check out more about it at interviewboss.com.au/interview academy. Now, the other thing you should know about agency recruitment models is that often, particularly with the large ones, and I think Freddie mentioned here that this was a very large recruiter, they have KPIs for their team. So you have to book this many meetings, you have to make this many phone calls per day to try and get jobs to fill.
That's an extra layer that makes this wrong.
You have to try and send this many people for interviews. Like there's all these numbers that you have to hit. And the idea is if you hit all these numbers, then you will make X amount of dollars and you'll hit your financial targets. And if you not hitting your financial targets, then they go back to the phone, go back to booking more interviews, go back to sending more emails, sending more candidates across to companies. So sometimes it's actually the company who encourages and creates this kind of behavior because that's what they're incentivizing. They're pushing people to just get as many interviews as they can, get a candidate in there, hurry, you've got to do it. There's all this pressure. So it's not always the individual person. I'm just trying to paint a really clear picture of the whole scenario that might be going on. So there's a lot of pressure and a lot of incentive for that recruiter to get a candidate in front of their client. Basically, you applied or whatever, they saw your details and they sent you straight across and booked you in. Again, in the whole, like in a good recruiter model, they should be chatting to you in detail to understand what you care about, your salary expectations, your career aspirations, what you care about, like what your strengths are, all these different things. They should then be writing up a little profile about you that goes on the top of your CV. They take off all your contact details and they replace it with their little summary. Then they decide what salary number to represent you across at. So unlike a regular job application where you just apply and then, the company kind of decides what they're assessing you at or what they want to pay you. Your CV, if it went through an agency, would go across at Emma costs this much. She's entertaining offers above this much. So how would they even know any of that to put on your resume that they've sent across? How have they written your profile?
They've just made it up.
Who knows? Who knows what they've even said on that, or whether they've just done it without it and they've just lazily sent across your version. The client's booked you in, you've gone to do the interview. They haven't even prepped you for the interview. I would expect from an agency recruiter that they would have met with the client and that they know that client really well. And they would say, now tomorrow you're going to be meeting with, or next week you're going to be meeting with Jonathan and Susan. I've met both of them. Now Susan's in finance and Jonathan is the manager that you'd be reporting to in this role. Now he's been there about a year. He's a really great guy. He really focuses on leadership and values. They're the things that he's going to ask you questions about. And Susan, well, she's more process driven, so she'll be interested in compliance. Like, this is what they should be doing, coaching you.
They're setting you up for success. They're like, hey, this is kind of what they want to hear.
Because think about them and their goals. If they prep you and they get to know their client, they can create that match and make it more likely that they're about to place you. It's not like selfless necessarily. It's just genuinely how you go about trying to do that job well. You set the candidate up really well. You prep your client. You understand your client. You know what they want, what they're looking for, what they care about, and you make that match together.
It's just like how if you're applying somewhere where your friend works, how they would be like, right, give you the lowdown. They'll probably mention this. Make sure you say something about this. You're setting them up for success.
Yeah, they really love this. Ask them this question. Totally. That's exactly what should be happening. So none of this happened in Freddie's scenario. And I think the fact that you didn't get any follow-up or feedback, probably that recruiter doesn't have a relationship with that client really at all, is what I would guess. Maybe that's not the case, but maybe that. And so probably that recruiter tried to get feedback and then they couldn't get on to the client because the client was like, I hardly know you. You've just randomly sent me a resume one day. We don't have a relationship. I haven't specifically engaged this recruiter to work on this role for me. It was just a coincidence that they happened to send me a resume and I liked the person and it was all a bit rushed. So when I see that missed call from that recruiter, whatever, like I didn't really like that candidate anyway. I'm not going to call them back. If they've got a relationship with the client, you are definitely going to hear back because that is a trusted relationship. They're going to say, hey, thanks for the candidate. No, look, we really liked this and this, but we were concerned about X, Y, Z, and they'll get feedback for you. Even if they can't though, the recruiter should still be checking in with you because a good recruiter would be thinking, let me say, oh, look, I haven't been able to get hold of them. I can't get feedback. I think they've gone forward with other candidates. So I think it's fair to assume that you didn't get the role. However, I still can't get any feedback for you. I'm so sorry. But let's keep you in mind for some other roles. What are some other things we talked about? I've got this other client over here that you might be right for. Like, you should be working with them on other roles as well. That's what a good experience really looks like. Now, that's in a perm environment, like a permanent environment where you're applying for permanent jobs. It can be a little bit different in a temporary contract environment, like a temp desk, they would say, where you're going for like short-term contracts. Sometimes it might be a little bit faster, a little bit more transactional. They might not do as much hand-holding in that environment, but they should still very much know their clients and know what's going on in that situation. So I hope that painted a picture, did it, Em, of like what's going on and what we would expect would be happening.
Yeah, ultimately, recruiters can't control the company, but they can control their own level of service. Like, if their job is to match candidates, they shouldn't be abandoning ship the second it didn't work out with one person. Their job is to go, all right, let's pivot. What else have I got for you? Like, get a happy ending.
And so here's our recommendations for the second part of Freddie's question. Is there a better way to approach recruiters to ensure smoother communication in the future? Yes, absolutely there is. So do not let yourself be represented by just anyone. If I applied for a job that an agency had posted and they emailed or something or called me just to say, hey, we're sending you across to XYZ company, I'd be like, no, you don't have my permission for that. Can you tell me more about the company, like what's going on? I don't even know who you are. I don't want you to represent me when I haven't even spoken to you before. You are well within your rights to do that. What can be happening if you just let some random agency represent you? They can send your resume everywhere, unsolicited. Nobody's asked for it. They're spamming everyone.
What's that quote you say, pray and spray or something?
Yeah, it's the spray and pray method. It's a reverse marketing. So they've got a candidate. They don't know if anyone's hiring. So they're sending the candidate anonymized often, like so with none of your personal details, maybe even not your name, across to all these people to find out who's hiring. Hey, I've got this great person. Are you interested in interviewing them? To everyone. And then what happens is you're applying directly to companies who might have an ad posted, and that company has received your resume with a little front blurb thing on it from this company over here, from this recruiter, and also you've applied directly to them. They've got your application twice. It's not a good look because one of them attracts a fee and one of them doesn't. Are you represented by the agency or are you applying direct? It's all over the place. It's not a great way.
And in like small towns or industries or communities, you don't really want to be in everyone's inbox if you didn't sign up for that.
Exactly. That's right. Exactly. Because imagine you're currently still where you are working. You don't want anyone to know about it. Imagine all the people that received that email. It's just, I also think part of this is like holding recruiters to account as well and just not letting them do like bad practices with your details. Be picky about the agencies that you work with. If you're not getting engagement and they're not chatting to you and they're not communicating with you properly, go work with someone else who is actually going to do that stuff. Agencies aren't always the right fit. We've got an episode a little bit about when an agency might be the right fit. If you're trying to make a career change or go for a big promotion or something like that, an agency is not the best place to help you because think about it from a company perspective. You're already a bit of a candidate they need to take a chance on and you now come with a big fee. So your chances might be better going direct in some of those situations. But if you are going to work with an agency, make sure it's a good one. It's either a good one or none.
And the good ones can change your career entirely and get you into jobs that you would never have considered, known about, or landed on your own. So they're not all bad. Don't let this experience, ruin it for you.
A good recruiter can get you a job that you didn't even know existed, that wasn't posted, or maybe it was posted but the ad's gone down, or it's just a contact that they have that they know that's looking. It might have been an ad that was so badly written that you never would have considered it, but they know based on what they know about you that you'd fit. Like I said, truly, the last 3 jobs that I've gotten, that's 3 out of 3, all came through wonderful agency recruiters. And I would never have found those roles or landed them without them. Some of it because I was like, I wouldn't have chosen that industry. I wouldn't have thought about that role. The ad wasn't written very well. Like it didn't sound that good. And then they're saying to me, oh no, trust me. We know this company. We've been there. It's like this. It's like that. It sounds like it would really suit you. Oh yeah, that does.
So good. Thank you for writing in, Freddie. And I'm so sorry that you had a less than desirable experience, but hope this provided some context and made you know what to look out for next time so you can avoid that experience entirely.
Exactly, and not waste so much time on doing that whole presentation. I bet it was so good. Thanks so much for listening to Interview Boss. If you like hearing the sound of our voices, follow us on Apple or Spotify, or better yet, tell someone about the show. That's how we can hit the charts and we can help even more people. For more advice, inspiration, and some fun behind the scenes, chuck us a follow on Instagram @InterviewBoss. Can you believe we started Interview Boss in 2021?
Not really. It's insane. That's a lot of episodes and a lot of hours of talking.
Oh my gosh, it is. And if you're scrolling through all of our episodes, you might scroll straight past something that you really, really needed.
Yes, we're always getting messages from people asking us to do an episode on something, and I'm like, we already have.
So we've put together playlists to help you find the episodes that are exactly what you need, suited to your situation.
They're all categorized. If you're applying for jobs, we have episodes about resumes, cover letters, job ads. If you've been offered your dream job, we have episodes on resigning, exit interviews, and how to impress at your new company.
And we even have a very special playlist that's very popular for if you have an interview coming up immediately and you need just our most recommended hard-hitting episodes between now and then.
For all our last-minute listeners. It's all there for you. You can browse by category and check out all the playlists at interviewboss.com.au/podcast.